Known after its stylish cabin crew uniforms, high-quality service, and extensive route network, Alitalia became a de facto ambassador of Italy to the world. However, the airline faced financial difficulties, underwent several restructurings and ownership changes over the years before its demise in 2021. ITA Airways, established by the Italian government, has come to fill the void left by Alitalia. The airline aims to address some of the challenges that Alitalia face by offering efficient, cost-effective service, focusing on profitable routes and an all-Airbus fleet. In this video, we go through the troubled history of Alitalia, from its origins to the birth of ITA Airways in 2021. Can ITA Airways live up to its predecessor's reputation? Alitalia was established in 1946 as the country began to recover from World War II. A year later, the airline began to serve flights from Turin to Catania via Rome. The flight was operated by an 18-seat Fiat G. Then, Alitalia quickly expanded its fleet and routes to Europe, Africa, and the Middle East. In the 1950s and 60s, Alitalia became a symbol of Italy's post-war economic resurgence, attracting the interest of tourists and business travelers wishing to visit the country. Alitalia's first troubles are traced back to the 1970s. The oil crisis of 1973 led to a sharp rise in fuel prices, which strained the airline's finances. Moreover, the global economic recession of the mid-1970s resulted in a drop in passenger demand. As a result, Alitalia was forced to reduce its fleet and cut back on routes. Despite these initial difficulties, Alitalia is credited as one of the leaders in developing the airline jet set. This term refers to international and Italian VIPs traveling with the Italian flag carrier. Famous actors, as well as world-renowned stylists and athletes, were regular customers of the Italian flag carrier. This allowed Alitalia to build its reputation as an icon in Italian culture and lifestyle. Among other VIPs, the Vatican has always employed Alitalia as its de facto carrier to transport the Pope, accounting for over 150 flights. This traces back to 1964, with Alitalia flying Paolo VI on a Douglas DC-8 to the Holy Land. Since then, many popes have traveled worldwide with Alitalia to meet with crowds. The 1980s and 1990s were marked by several attempts to restructure Alitalia and make it more competitive. In 1987, the airline was privatized, with the government selling a 39% stake to a consortium of Italian companies. However, this did not lead to significant improvements, and Alitalia continued to struggle financially. In the 1990s, Alitalia was still a widely prestigious company, carrying tourists and businessmen to all continents. Alitalia had crew bases in Tokyo, Bangkok, Buenos Aires, Caracas, and Sydney. At some point, Alitalia even operated Fifth Freedom flights, such as Tokyo to Singapore and Bangkok to Sydney and Melbourne. Their fleet in the 1990s included the Airbus A300, the Boeing 747-200, the McDonnell Douglas MD-11s, MD-80s, and DC-9-30s. The airline showcased beautiful liveries dedicated to promote Italian brands, such as the Perugina and the Bulgari. These were among the favorite to catch by plane spotters and aviation enthusiasts. The aging Boeing 747-200 fleet was supposed to be replaced with the 400 version to consolidate a potential merger with KLM. However, the carriers never finalized their agreements. Instead, Alitalia opted to order the Boeing 777-200ER, with the first aircraft arriving in 2002 to operate flights to New York and Tokyo. In 2001, Alitalia declared bankruptcy, and the Italian government again took control of the airline. A major restructuring plan was implemented, which involved cutting costs, reducing the workforce, and selling off non-core assets. In 2008, Alitalia merged with Air One in a move to create a more competitive carrier by combining the strengths of both airlines. Air One was seen as a potential partner that could help turn things around. In the same year, all the intercontinental traffic from Milan Malpensa was moved to Rome Fiumicino. The merger involved the creation of a new company, Alitalia-CAI, which was owned by a group of Italian investors, including the former Prime Minister Silvio Berlusconi. The new company took over the assets and operations of both Alitalia and Air One, including their fleets of aircraft, route networks, and staff. The merger was challenging. Integrating two airlines with different cultures, systems, and workforces was a complex process that took several months to complete. Moreover, the 2008 global financial crisis hit the airline industry hard, and Alitalia CAI was not immune to the economic downturn. Despite these challenges, the Italian government saw the merger as a positive step for both airlines. It allowed Alitalia to expand its route network and improve its competitiveness. At the same time, Air One gained access to Alitalia's international routes and brand recognition. To allow the merger of Alitalia and Air One, the Italian government turned down a significant offer from the Air France-KLM group. While many think that this has marked the end of Alitalia, it would take a few more years for its ultimate demise. As predicted by analysts, the merger did not solve Alitalia's underlying financial problems, and the airline continued to struggle. In 2014, Etihad Airways showed interest in adding Alitalia to its airline portfolio. Etihad acquired 49% of Alitalia shares, the maximum quote a company outside the European Union can buy in a European carrier. Alitalia joined a group of Etihad-controlled airlines together with Jet Airways, Air Serbia, Air Seychelles, and Air Berlin. With Etihad, Alitalia changed their uniforms, livery, and introduced the Airbus A330-200 to replace the aging Boeing 767s. The rebranding included a new, refreshed livery presented in June 2015 by the former Italian Prime Minister Matteo Renzi. The Etihad venture didn't last long. Alitalia filed for bankruptcy again in May 2017, and several airlines lodged formal expressions of interest to acquire it, including Delta, Ryanair, EasyJet, and China Eastern Airlines. Once again, the Italian government took over the airline in April 2020 when the COVID-19 pandemic compromised the company's future. Along with the pandemic, other causes for the decline of Alitalia include the extensive high-speed train network and the low-cost carrier competition in the Italian peninsula and the regional subsidization system that the airlines receive. On October 15, 2021, ITA Airways started operations from Rome Fiumicino Airport with a flight to Palermo. The airline acquired the majority of resources, such as part of the fleet, slots, and facilities at Fiumicino Airport, as well as Alitalia's IATA code. Since then, ITA Airways has also been progressing towards securing its airport fleet. The airline signed a lease agreement for 28 Airbus aircraft, which includes a mix of A320neo family aircraft, A330-900s, and A350s with deliveries for the next 3 years. Regarding to its network, ITA Airways announced plans to focus on domestic and international routes that are profitable and high in demand. The airline planned to initially operate flights to 45 destinations. Of these, 38 are international. In January 2023, Lufthansa signed a letter of intent to acquire up to 40% of ITA stakes from the Italian government. The German group considers Italy a valuable market and in May announced the confirmation of 41% of ITA Airways. Alitalia has a long and complex history, marked by periods of success, decline, and restructuring. Despite facing numerous challenges over the years, Alitalia remains a symbol of Italian national pride, and its fate is closely watched by many in Italy and beyond. Undeniably, the airline has cost the Italian taxpayers a significant amount of money. It is interesting to notice that between 2015 and 2018, Alitalia lost almost 1.4 billion euros while maintaining an average load factor well above 75%. These are perhaps the most indicative numbers of this video. Alitalia's decline was due not only to strong competition, but also to a combination of political events and mismanagement that went on for decades. The new ITA aims to be fully independent of the Italian government, with ambitious plans to future-proof. Will this be the case? Let us know in a comment and subscribe for more aviation deep dives.